Good evening guys, how are we all? Please do not swear, we are live on not Channel 4, on YouTube. How is everyone today? Are we all good? I can't hear the boys talking.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Good. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second there. Sorry, my apologies.
Oh, that's all right. I was just.
He's back in.
He's back. I was just saying that I had other commitments, but I'm back. I'm spreadsheet ready, so ready for the preview show and the players.
It's all good. Sorry, I was having a few usual technical issues. Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
Never mind.
But it's hopefully they will be able to all hear you boys now as we are all speaking. No, I think that's.
Yeah, is that old? Is it?
Yeah, they're talking about buzzing, which is what we were talking about off camera. So let's try this. Oh, good now. They're saying good now.
Good now. Marvellous. Thanks, Ryan.
Is that better with the buzzing, boys and girls?
It would be us without a technical hitch, would it?
Well, this is live TV, and there we go. We're doing what we can.
Look at that, bang on 8:30. Yeah, 8:30, but no good.
8:30, but no sound.
8:30 on the nose. Can't hear each other.
Good. Right. Let's get rocking. So let's start with last week then. What a tournament that was last week, eh? Arnold Palmer Invitation. Such a good golf course.
Love that golf course. It's so good, and it was great. Obviously, we were all texting backwards and forwards as the guys came down the last few holes. So it was great to see Westy up there. It was just, I was absolutely gutted that he didn't get it. I really wanted him to even to force that playoff. As soon as Bryson rolled it past, I was like, oh come on. I'd love him to miss it going back just to get Westy in the playoff. Obviously, there's not going to be that many opportunities as he goes towards the back end of his career now to get that red cardigan under his belt.
Yes.
So,
it was a tough final day as well, wasn't it? It was a really tough final day. Quite a lot of players at over par.
I think there was only 8 people par or better.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot, is it, for the size of the field that was out there? And
crazy.
You know, you could see it drying out, and I can't remember which hole is it where Bryson smashed the driver.
6.
No. He smashed the driver, and it ended up in the rough. So Westwood took a 3-wood, landed it on the fairway nicely, and just didn't stop and ran into the rough.
No, 15, hard, difficult. And that there shows like the whole grow the rough up thing for the long hitters. And then Bryson had a gap wedge in. Westwood's got sort of 9-iron, and he gets more control. So it's just hard, isn't it?
Bryson played a hell of a shot out of that rough as well, though. What an incredible shot he played, and Westy did well to get up and down to keep it alive. But
he did,
Bryson was saying he sort of channeled Arnold Palmer's motto of play boldly, and didn't he play boldly on the 6th?
Yes.
I mean, I think we've all seen it on socials. I think it's been doing the rounds quite heavily. His 370-yard bomb over the water. We were all texting about it, and I'd like to add that he had 70 yards in and missed the green. 70 yards. But incredible.
For me,
incredible balls to take that shot on. I mean, if he gets that a little bit wrong, he's costing himself a couple of shots, and he doesn't win the competition there.
Well, for me, it was the reaction. It was the fact that he celebrated that shot. He went for it and then celebrated it. So doing that meant something to him, you know. And that's, you know, he gets a lot of bad press. I'm obviously a big fan anyway, but he gets a lot of bad press, and a lot of it's justified, you know, the slow play and whatnot, which seems to have gone a bit on the back burner recently. But he definitely brings something to golf that no one else brings. I mean, there are long hitters, there are good players, there's lots of good stuff, there's lots of amazing characters in golf at the moment, but he is just something different. And yeah, to see him here with the trophy is, yeah, super good. I'm super happy for him. I'm glad that he carried on and finished the tournament off. And I think, you know, leads well into, obviously, major season is coming around. You know, Masters will be on us before we know it. And yeah, there's a bit of chat going on about the divot.
Yeah, so Ryan's put Westwood in the divot on 18. Should the rule be brought in that you can obviously have a drop from that?
Yeah, I mean, that
I'm
one.
a bit in the school of thought of no.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
It is like play the ball as it lies. How many times have you played out of a divot in the grand scheme of how many times you've played golf? For me, very few. It's one of those that, yes, it is unfortunate, but then what constitutes a divot? Is it
That's the
it's an old divot?
That's the problem.
Are people going to then try and take that to their advantage?
Yeah.
Patrick Reed probably might.
It's such a difficult one because yes, I think we'd all agree that Westwood's tee shot on 18 deserved to be on a nice lie because it was in the middle of the fairway. He hit a great tee shot down 18, and that was clearly a divot. It wasn't a very well filled in sand divot. There was definitely still a depression there that it was sat in. But at what point does that then become just the fairway? And it's that grey area, isn't it? And that's what the golf rules recently have been trying to get rid of.
And also, I'd probably prefer, as a player, I'd probably prefer it to be sand-filled divot than somebody putting that divot back. Because if it comes to rest on a divot that's been put back, it's like, well, how's that going to react off of there? At least with a sand-filled divot, it's going to sit up pretty well.
Yeah.
You know what reaction you're going to get from that strike, so it's hard, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's difficult.
It's definitely hard.
And it's the same rule for everybody. So whether they say, you know, everyone plays it from there. That's just the tough luck of golf. And you know, if you get, I know obviously they've changed it with plug glides and stuff now, and that's fine. But again, it's the same for everybody. So you know, if the ball's still sitting, okay, so it's sitting below ground by, you know,
better than being in the rough though, definitely.
It is, you know, you're still going to get a clean strike. The ball's not buried in the floor.
No.
You're still going to be able to pick that ball off the turf.
Yeah.
So, and these guys are the best in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they should be able to manage these situations, and that is just the way golf is.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's just the way that. You know, sometimes you get a plug light in a bunker, and sometimes you don't.
Yep.
That's just.
Oh, don't get me started on that one at Bryson. He threw his toys firmly out of the pram. They were so far across the other side of the green, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I think the bunker play just generally wasn't very good, was it, throughout? And you know, but I don't see that as a negative. I see that as the golf course, you know, being what it is. And if you can't deal with the bunkers, well, don't go in them. That's the bottom line. Right. Let's move on to the picks. So we'll start with our picks first of all this week. So this
James is all over it. Look at me dying to show the results. Yes, if you've been following social media, I mean, you know,
he's doing good. Right, let's pop that on the screen so you guys can see. Ryan obviously topped the week with 2,138 points. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Are we going to talk about the Patrick Reed pick, or are we just going to let that slide?
Well, you got minus 50 points for it, so.
I got minus 50 points, so that was absolutely. I mean,
might have added another naught, but that's all right.
Another naught, but I mean, it's annoying that he's such an idiot because he's actually a very good golfer.
He's very good.
Yeah.
He's very good, and he was playing after the other week, and we were saying about maybe we should just start picking players that are in form, and Patrick Reed is in very very good form at the moment.
He is.
Until last week, where you know missed the cut, but I did have three 10th place finishes, 3 times.
Yeah, very good.
Charlie Hoffman at 100 to 1, getting that.
Did you proud?
Was brilliant. So yes, I'm very very pleased, very happy.
Yes.
It'll all change again this week.
But speaking of that, let's have a look at the overall table. So obviously this is a slide that I want to get on.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I'm pretty happy with this slide.
It's evenly spread, I think.
It is evenly spread.
It's evenly spread.
Yeah, definitely evenly
I
spread.
think I might need a winner.
You're gonna need a Charlie Hoffman-esque.
I told you, I'm winning the FedEx Cup. This is it. The whole playoff events.
That's it. Yes. Good. So,
You need an outsider, don't you, to do well for you.
So I'm going to put on now the viewers table from last week, which does include our points. And while I put this on the screen, Adam, Ryan Rosansky has made a pick in the comments. So do you want to chat that out so Ryan can put it on his spreadsheet while we look at this?
So Ryan's picked Tyrrell Hatton, Paul Casey, Bob McIntyre, and Patrick Cantlay, 25 on each.
So so looking at the table, Marcus Lee and Ian Thompson continuing. Marcus is having a fantastic time of it with he's had some proper good weeks. Has Marcus?
He might have to text me on a Tuesday. I think we might have to talk.
He knows. He knows what he's talking about. So that then, Kieran Pemberton, Richard Hodge, not such good weeks. Adam, you're down there. Glenn at 787 points. What's new? So this is the new viewers table with weeks played, total points, and average points per week, which I think is the fairest way to allow new people in, allow everybody to have a go at it, and just to keep track of everybody that's joined in throughout this season, which has been fantastic. So
Marcus, if you add us in as well,
don't do that.
1 week less than us. 1 week less.
He's got 1,000 more points.
More, but averaging 1,300 points a week.
Yes.
Is a fabulous.
Have I got 1,300 points total yet?
You've got 4,000. Yeah.
Yes, you've got 4,000.
But you've only got just over 3 weeks worth of Marcus's 8, 7 or whatever he's done.
3 Marcuses.
Yeah.
But it's fairly close after Marcus, I have to say. The pack behind is tight. It's tight, and all we need is a Marcus tough week and maybe a couple of missed cuts for him, and it could all change. So
Marcus pick Patrick Reed because he's saying 500 points deducted.
He won't be picking Patrick Reed. No, not at all. Good. So there we go. That rounds up Arnold Palmer Invitational. Let's move on to this week, and I'll start with an event on the European Tour. We haven't had one.
It's back.
I don't know when was the last European Tour event. I can't even.
About a month ago.
It's mad, isn't it? How long it's gone. And Qatar Masters, a really good event. I've always liked the Qatar Masters since it's been on the circuit. We've got Education City Golf Club.
Always.
Slips off the tongue. Not the most famous name, but I would say it's one of the most famous trophies. The old clam shell with the golf ball in the middle. And again, another fantastic Middle Eastern clubhouse facility. It is a lovely event. We've had some good winners over the years. I think Jorge Campillo is the defending champion. And just so you guys can have a look, here is the top page of the betting. I haven't gone too far into the betting because you just want to have a look really at the top page on this one. So Thomas Pieters is the favourite. Thomas Detry's playing. Andy Sullivan probably is the standout name in that field.
Is Eddie playing?
Eddie is playing, yes. Eddie Pep's playing. He's not on the first page of the leaderboard of the betting, remarkably. He's just outside the first page at 80 to 1.
He's just superb, though, isn't he?
He is superb, yeah. On social media, he is fantastic, isn't he? But yeah, there's some very, very good players. And as we always say with these kind of European Tour events, when there's other big events going on around the world, it's a great opportunity for someone who hasn't made a big win, hasn't had a big result in an event to really spring out, get themselves a tour card, secure their schedule for the next couple of years, and good luck to him. It will be a good event. It'll be nice morning golf to be watched over the weekend, which is always good.
Nice to bookend end the day with a bit of golf.
Yes, yeah, two good golf courses, 2 good events. So come on then, Adam. PGA Tour, talk us through.
Okay, so quick quickly, do you want to, while you're doing that, we're just going Glenn Taylor.
Oh, got another picks. Yes.
So we've got Cam Smith 30, John Rahm 30, Morikawa 30,
Scott Harrington, yes.
Scott Harrington 10.
But he's 1,000 to 1, isn't he?
He's 1,000 to 1, isn't he?
Yeah.
We did mention during the day that he might pick that. Oh, imagine if he won. It's only 10 points. It's okay.
So,
well, let's be fair. All you got to do is have him make the cut.
Oh yeah.
And you're getting 1,000 points for him making the cut.
Perfect.
So, nice.
This week, PJ Tour, we are the Players' Championship. TPC Sawgrass, the stadium course. Everybody knows it. Everybody's played it just simply through Tiger Woods at some stage on Xbox or PlayStation. It's just a superb golf course. And it's fairly short at 7-1. It's not the longest. You do have to be quite strategic off the tee, par 72. So it's not a long golf course for the PJ Tour boys. Obviously, you can have a little look through. It's got an amazing clubhouse that Si's going to put up. And then, obviously, the aesthetics of the golf course are superb. Very Florida-based, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of water, sleepers, palm trees, like barked areas. It's just very, very Florida-looking golf course. And obviously, last year, called off the golf course after 2 rounds.
Yes. Yeah.
2 rounds?
Mhm.
Yeah. So Matsuyama leading last year.
Yeah.
But obviously didn't get it done. So the last time this trophy was presented, it was presented to Rory, 2019. What a superb trophy again! Like obviously you get the golden golfer, but you also get the cut glass as well. So getting 2 trophies for the price of 1 with this one, and it's why it's their flagship event over there on the PJ Tour.
Yes.
And you can't talk about Sawgrass without highlighting the hole that is Sawgrass.
Yes.
17.
What a hole.
137 yards seems quite an easy par 3, but not when they've plonked it in the middle of a lake. So there's only one way in, one way out, one walkway on, one walkway off.
Yeah.
And actually, Pete Dye's wife came up with the idea of making that hole. They were sculpting out, and she said, "Why don't you just fill all of that with water?" And he went, "Well, yeah, why don't we?" So out came a bit more of the earth, and in went the water, and my lord, there must be some golf balls in there every year.
Definitely,
Can you
yeah.
imagine how many come out of that piece of water?
Yeah.
That would be absolutely superb. But there is some other news that has come out very recently, either today or yesterday, that the PJ Tour have put in a local rule for this tournament. It's actually an internal out of bounds on 18. So there was a junior event there not so long ago, and a lad stood on the 18th tee, looked like he was going to stand there, and he's actually hit it onto the 9th fairway, and it's a better angle in from that point. So they've put in a rule that literally Bryson can't hit it onto that fairway and then hit it in.
It's not just for Bryson, but that's the headline, isn't it? Because if it,
it'd have to be, it's 325 to carry it off the back tee.
Yeah.
So there's
not many people are getting there.
Very few of them that are going to go in that direction. So yeah, local ruling up there, so they can't hit it over that point. And it's for the safety of the spectators.
Because there's going to be so many of those.
You boys are going to laugh at me because I tend to play the wrong fairway quite regularly around Bury, but I do feel like you are. I mean, I don't intentionally play the wrong fairway. It's just it regularly ends up. But you know, but I think you should be playing the hole you're playing in. You know, instead of going, it's better over on a 9th fairway. The holes are designed to, like, whether you cut off a lot of it by cutting corners and stuff, that's fine. But picking another fairway because that's a better angle, I think that's probably a bit much. I personally think it's poor course design if you need internal out of bounds.
Exactly.
If the boundary of the golf course is not, and I'm not including driving ranges. So there's a lot of golf courses around here where the driving range is out of bounds, and it is sandwiched in between 2 fairways. And again, that's a speed of play and a safety thing, isn't it? You don't want to be walking into the middle of a range and hitting shots out when people are trying to practice. But there is a golf course near us that has a par 5 that is a dogleg, and it has the previous hole is a dogleg down towards the tee box, and that fairway. And I just think that it's just poor design to have to say, well, you can't go on
because
6 fairway when you're playing 7, because you could have designed the course better.
you could have designed the course better, and at that point, why wouldn't I go that way?
Yeah.
If I can.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do it.
They've only done it for obviously for how far they can maybe fly the ball down there, and then it's one of those that they don't want to ruin that whole hole because it is a superb golf hole.
Yeah, it's definitely. We've got some picks coming in, Adam.
Yeah. So we've got Marcus. Here we go. These are the people that are probably going to win.
Yeah.
You've got Matsuyama, 30 points. Casey, 30. Cameron Smith, 30. And Victor Perez, 10.
Yeah, I very nearly went Matsuyama.
He flushes it.
What's that, Perez?
I reckon he's Ryder Cup.
You think?
Yeah. I reckon if he keeps playing like he is, I think if he keeps playing like he is, I think it's going to be hard to look past him. He seems to be playing against the world's best week in, week out, and standing up. Stood up to DJ and them obviously out in Saudi, and just sounds, every time I watch him, he just sounds like he flushes it.
Yeah.
Playing a nice goal.
Cool. Right. So while I know we've started to have some picks in, but there'll be some people that are waiting to see the betting. So let's go through the betting by page now. So I'll just pop these through. If anyone else wants to start making their picks, they can do. Dustin Johnson is obviously favourite, Bryson second favourite, McIlroy, Rahm, Justin Thomas. You know, this is, and I hate to say it because I don't think it should be, but it's always classed as the 5th major, and that's just the PGA. For me, that's just the PGA Tour. Speak, they're trying to build it up. It is a great event. It is their flagship event, but it's not a major. It will never be a major, in my opinion. Second page here, you've got fantastic value in here. Go on, you carry on if there's people putting picks in.
Yeah, so Richard Hodge is in. He's got Hovland 20, Homer 30, Spieth 20, Bezadenhout 30.
Nice. Bezadenhout played really well last week. Really well.
Yeah. Ian Thompson's in with Bezadenhout 25.
Oh, nice.
Andrew Putnam 25. Matsuyama 25 and Kevin Na 25.
Yeah.
Kevin Na is a good shout.
He played well around there in the past. It was at Sawgrass. He did the walk-in, wasn't it?
Yes, and then Tiger did
followed him in.
Tiger did it. Yeah.
And this is the page.
For a giggle.
This is the page everyone is waiting for. The last 10 names, all at 600 to 1 plus. That's where all my picks are. There we go. Good. So if anyone wants those betting pages up again, let me know. Anyone else that's in the chat that's not already made a pick, then now's the time.
The only people we're missing, obviously, Adsy's not watching.
Adsy's wide his across.
He has sent them through to Adam. Julian Roll, James Wade, Kieran Pemberton of the regulars.
Well, James Wade's in the chat, so he's around. So I'm expecting James to pick some soon.
And
so just to say, obviously, just Adsy's picks were Hovland, Neiman, Bubba, and Emiliano Grillo. Your man. My man. He didn't do me very proud on Saturday and Sunday. I was eking points all day Sunday. Both my players in contention were going backwards.
Most of the field were going backwards on Sunday. There was Bryson only shot 71.
Yeah,
he was bogey free from 17.
Yeah. So James Wade's in.
Yep.
He said it's Tony time. So Finau 40, Simpson 30, Cameron Smith 30.
Good picks. Very, very
He's got to win
good.
at some point, hasn't he? He will pop up and win a big one.
Yeah.
Even though he's going to win 2 majors, and just be like, I'm just waiting, boys.
Yeah, Perez. You're right, Marcus.
Have a look then.
Okay, so I just want to say that nobody yet has picked McIlroy, have they?
No, we've got no Rory. He hasn't won since 2019. He hasn't won for a long. So I was on a bit of a Facebooky thing, and someone commented about Spieth choking, and I've got a lot of admiration for Spieth at the moment. He really has come out the doldrums. He's playing some really good golf. He's had top 10 finishes in the last 2 or 3 tournaments, and someone said he was choking, and I went, well, is he? Like, yes, he.
Still battling, really, isn't he?
He's battling. Yes, he didn't win. You can only have one winner, and lots of players struggled. And I was like, what about Rory? Did he choke too? Because he hasn't won since 2019.
Yeah.
And last time Spieth won was 2017. So, Rory's got to find. He said, I read a thing. He did say he needs to find a spark. He needs something. Something needs to change for him because he's
been open and said that he doesn't like it about the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe that's
like you just don't know. Like some people sort of thrive on that. Like, can you imagine if they'd have played the Ryder Cup behind closed doors with Poulter there, not being able to scream and shout? Like, it just doesn't work. Does it? So some people like react on that, don't they? Right, Julian Roll is in with some picks. He's gone DJ, Fleetwood, Zalatoris, and Cameron Triangle.
Thank you.
Even split.
I'm glad that Cameron Triangle is now just his name. We're not messing around anymore.
Yeah.
That is just his name.
Not messing around.
It's just Cameron Triangle.
And Ryan's saying that McIlroy's going to miss the cut.
Well, you haven't seen any of our picks yet, Ryan, so...
yeah. So
that is bold to say that he's going to miss the cut.
You never know. Right.
So, do you want to kick us off?
Oh, okay, I'll kick us off. Hang on, I had you queued up, but I'm there. I'll go. Right, so...
I can go if you like.
No, I'm on the screen. That's fine. So I've got 30 on Spieth. I've got 50 on Spieth, haven't I? Sorry, I went big on Spieth this week.
You went big on Spieth.
So I'm just trying to look at it in a small, because I can't remember what I went. I've gone, what did I go? 30 on Match Kuchar, 10 on CT Pan. Now that's my outside of the and then 10 on Bo Hostler, because it's pretty much always an American that wins the Players. You just never know. He's a good golfer. Well, yeah, apart from Rory, but he's nearly American. So there we go. Those are my picks. But yeah, I've gone big on Spieth because I think that, like we said before, he's just coming into some form, and it's those players that are nearly, and then they win. Very rarely do they just come out of nowhere with no form and win. So that's what I'm hoping for. Ryan, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'll give you your cut.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
If you make the cut, 1,730 points if you all make the cut, but you're hoping that CC Pan and Hostler make the cut.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping that CT Pan beats Spieth in a playoff. That'd be perfect for me.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. So my picks. Again, so I've gone a bit. I'm hoping for American. Yeah, I've gone mostly American. So I've got Justin Thomas, regular pick of mine. I just love the way he plays golf. He's been off the ball a little bit, sort of earlier in the year, but he sort of found a bit of form. So 25 on him, 25 on Spieth. Just again because he's playing nice golf. Bezaden, who has played some really good stuff, and he's good odds. He's 70 to 1. He's really good odds. And then Bubba, because you just never know when a lefty might pop up. And
couple of Bubba picks. I like that.
I do like Bubba. Fellow Ping fan, and with his pink pings.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know. You never know, and sometimes a bit of experience.
You never know with Bubba.
You're quite right there.
I can quite easily see him missing the cut horribly, and it cost me 50 points.
He's so peaks and troughs, isn't he? But like
when he peaks
at the right time, and there's a green jacket at the top there. That's fine.
Yeah. But that's as we've said so many times. That's the modern tour pro. Is that there isn't going to be the people that just churn top tens every week.
If you're Tony Finau, you get absolutely destroyed for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just ultra consistent, and just get absolutely trounced in the media.
Exactly.
No one remembers seconds down, do they?
No, they don't. Right, come on then.
The accountant does.
Yeah. His caddy doesn't mind it. Right, there's a big drum roll for Adam's picks going on in the comments. So here we go.
So, pick number 1, 25 points is Webb Simpson.
There's no shock there. You love a Webb Simpson
22
pick.
to 1. Webb Simpson, obviously previous win around there, just a very, very good player. I think better player now than when he won his majors and bits and pieces. So we're going there. Tommy Fleetwood at 45 to 1, 25 points. And then we go with this man owes me some points. So Kevin Kisner, backside in gear, 125 to 1. Played okay last week. Seems to be obviously liking it there in Florida. Again, very good ball striker, so hopefully gets that round. And then somebody who played well last week and is a good iron player. You need good control round TPC. At 225 to 1, I think Bernd Wiesberger is a very good bet.
Yeah. Wiesberger's one that he gets. He always draws our attention, doesn't he? He's been a regular pick, and he's not always performed for us out in America. But yeah, he's good picks.
Okay.
I like that.
So Adam, your cut points is 1,043. So
Okay.
all of your players make the cut 1,043. Mine, incidentally, is 645. So I'm definitely going to need some top 20s and some top 10s, I feel. But I have got at least, I think, 2 that definitely will beat. Well, you'd like to think
Can we-
top 20 players.
Can we? Oh, definitely. I thought you were going to say definitely make the cut. Okay, I want you to name those 2 that are definitely going to be in the top 20.
Oh, Thomas and Spieth. I'd like to think that they're both.
Okay, you heard it here first.
You do realise that golf's really hard.
Yeah.
And, in fact, it will make you look really stupid really quick.
Yeah. There you go. Good stuff. Okay.
Oh well.
So those are our picks. What do you guys think of our picks? And also, while we're on the subject, we've kind of teased it a little bit, but we've kind of had a bit of a redesign of our logo. So I've put that new logo on the screen in the corner. I'll get rid of the other logo so you guys can have a look. What do you guys think of that branding in terms of having it on jumpers, shirts, polo shirts, whatever, merchandise? Because you know, as we've always said, you guys that contribute in the preview show, that take the time out of your Wednesday evenings to sit down with us, have a chat, have some banter, have some picks, you know, make this the community that it is. What do you think of the logo? I've got it with the grey writing, so PJ Life in white with grey, but obviously the colouring is completely interchangeable. But we quite like it, don't we?
Yeah. I said it's very, very Frankie says relax or Run DMC. It's very. I like it. I love it. I love a bit of a bold retro kind of look. Yeah, it's very, very contemporary.
Very contemporary. Good. So there we go.
I like it.
I'm just trying to look up.
Yeah,
Ryan's just said in the chat about Kevin Kisner's putting aid. I'm just trying to
see if I can find it.
find a picture of it.
So talking about
Pictures
putting
of
aids.
putting.
Hopefully, I'm waiting for a delivery from a putting aid company. I wonder what other people use. So, like some of
Was it a
the
T-
guys that
T-stroke.
watch other YouTubers. There's Peter Finch did a bit on it. It's Trident putting aids, and it's quite an elaborate sort of 3-pronged fork thing that you use to line up your putter and your ball. Just wondering what people use out there. Are people quite heavy on the putter aid, or some people use just £5 coin or a 5-pence piece or whatever you've got in your pocket? I wonder what
You use a
what
line,
you
right?
guys. I use a line.
Line, yeah, Ryan's a big line guy, yeah, definitely.
I'm one line, and my ball marker also has one line on it, and then obviously I use aim point. So my ball marker faces is direct line to the hole, and then adjust my ball to that, and that seems to work for me. But I was wondering, we're waiting for this delivery from Trident. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that we can do a review on. Because it looks interesting, and I wonder if it makes any difference, or if it's just another one of those magical gimmicks. out there. I was wondering what you guys at home do.
It will help somebody. I'm sure.
I think with that, for those that don't know, basically it's a ball marker that sits on the floor, and then on top of it is a movable pivot, isn't there? With three lines on it, like a trident,
Yes,
you know.
Yes,
So you
like
can.
a trident shape, and they line up with your ball. So you make the 3 lines fit with your 3 lines on your ball.
Yeah, well, you make the 3 lines of the marker point where you want to aim, don't you?
Yes.
You move it if
Yeah.
it's a right to left putt that way.
Yes.
Um,
And then you line your ball up with that, and then and obviously there's Callaway and Odyssey in particular have obviously got their triple track and all that, and
yeah. Cool. So there's some comments in the chat about the logo. I think we're saying that this is going to be an additional logo. We're not going to obviously get rid of the circular logo, because that will always be the social media icons, because all social media icons are circular. This will always be the main logo. This will just be one that sits as an option, and certainly for clothing and stuff. So yeah, so we shall see. We shall have them both there. A ball goes in the general direction. Yeah, I like that.
having a good putting day. Yeah, help me all.
Exactly. So I mean, you're not a line guy, Adam, are you?
No. Like, I'm far too OCD for that. Like, that would drive me nuts. I'd be like, I don't know if it was 2 mil off, and no, I've tried it. It just, like, I just can't do it. And also for me, it's like I would always putt with my eyes slightly inside the putter, not directly over the top, because
So the line would need to sit like that.
So then for me, that line's now got to sit at an angle. It can't sit dead upright, because now my eyes aren't over it. So I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I often put like a dot on the plain side of the ball, and just have the dot pointing upright, just so I've got something as I come back from the hole, just fix on the dot rather than anything else. And because I used to obviously get that thing of when you were practicing, you'd always tend to look at the putter going away, and that always tended to be a bit of a thing with me, whereas I just put one dot on the top and focus on that, really.
Yeah.
You're the same, Simon. You don't like anything on the ball. You don't like seeing anything.
No, I like the option at the last minute to change my mind. I like the control of that. Is my thing. Because for me, obviously we all, the 3 of us all use aim point. We'll massively believe in aim point, but aim point is still speed generated. So if you decide that it's a 3, but you think actually at the last minute I really don't want to rush this by, you can kind of shimmy it to a 3.5 and hit it softer. Whereas if I had a line, I would the same as Adam. I'd get in my own head about how much away from the line am I moving, etc. So yeah, so I don't like to see anything at any point whenever I hit any golf shot, if I can help it. I'm not, because otherwise I'm the opposite to Adam. I don't really focus on the ball. I try not to focus, actually focus at all. So sometimes when I have writing on the ball, I'll actually end up finding myself reading the writing or reading the logo or whatever I've put on the ball. So yeah,
we regularly see your ball, and one of the Titleist logos has taken
battered
absolute,
because I hit the same side every time.
Hit the same side, so every time you tee it up,
it's exactly the same way. Yeah,
you've got it the same way up, which is a bit OCD.
It's very
We're all a bit OCD.
I always have the Titleist logo facing me when I tee off.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are you guys at home? What's your little ball OCD? Do you have it? Do you like it like a certain way up? Do you draw like where do you put your marks? You always do something that you think, that's going to be the same every time.
Yeah. I think people are saying.
Saying he's looked at something half a foot in front of the ball.
Yeah, to aim
or a
over.
mark on the green and go over that.
Yeah,
so,
both do that.
Yeah.
Really good that.
Rory used to go that way a little bit before, didn't he?
Yes, Ryan Rosansky.
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. It's the way I always explain it. It's a skill that is worth learning. Why would you not learn it? It's like, you might never use it. You might use it occasionally, but it's another tool at your disposal. And when you realise how, certainly for the 3 of us, because we're all converts of it, but when you realise how successful and how easy it actually is, and how it takes a lot of the doubt out of your mind, and when you go and play other golf courses and you can just you're just pretty much calibrated to slopes before you even get there. You're then just looking at speed, and away you go.
Yeah, Julian, I know that feeling. Not really have the ball long enough to get OCD. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, like, Ryan, going back to it, yes, I would say it's absolutely worth doing. Simon taught me aim point in a very brief sort of view, like, right, we've got 10 minutes, let's just quickly go over it, and then, you know, through a few times where we've played golf together and we've had a bit of it, but I've never had like what I'd say is a proper full-on lesson, 2 or 3 lessons of aim point, and it has improved my putting like tenfold, like without even a solid concentrated lesson. So absolutely, it's definitely something that you need to practice yourself, and you obviously need to self-calibrate, because what I think is a 1 break or a 2 break, Simon think maybe is only a half or a 1. You know, it's however
it's you, isn't it? That's the beauty of it.
You adjust it from there, but I'd say I get it the right side of the hole and closer to the hole probably 9 times out of 10 now compared to what I did before, you know, so it's definitely something worth looking at.
Yeah, Marcus Lee's saying in the chat, isn't he, about putting like Spieth and looking at the hole. Yes, I mean, I don't do it, but and Adam will have done the same thing, that will have used it in lessons as a tool. You know, I'd certainly do it with chipping as well. People that get in their own heads about their own chipping technique, just close your eyes, look away from, you know, freeze up the stroke to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's interesting, going back to the aim point, there's a video on our YouTube channel where me and Simon did a 2v small, like versus each other on some greens at Bury. The second green at Bury, for anybody that hasn't played it, has got a stupid amount of break on it. And I've hit it on the front of that green, and where I read it and then where I aim pointed it, there was probably 4 foot difference. Like literally stood up there, and Simon's like, "Tell me where you're gonna aim," and I hit the putt, and I was just like, "There is no way in the world that I would have read it to that point."
No,
nowhere near.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how much more break you can feel at times from that. I do still struggle with the ones that are very, very...
Yeah, me too. And I have to really use my eye on that as well, because I think I sometimes read a break that's not there, because there must be break. There's not a flat putt, you know. And sometimes you get a little bit of that in you get a little bit in your head and go, well, I should be feeling something. When if you don't, you don't. And it's trusting you. It's trusting your body.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So James is saying, just interested to know if any of you guys have an unusual putting grip. Simon has a very unusual putting grip.
I do. Hang on. I have
He's got fingers and overlaps and downsides of grips and all sorts of things going on.
I've got a microphone here that I can use as I invented this grip when I think I showed this in a video once, and somebody gave it a name, which is remarkable because I made this grip up when I was like 12 years old. But basically this would be my grip if I turn around. So essentially my middle finger of my left hand is interlocked in between the little finger of my right hand, which frees up this finger to go down the grip, and it goes down that way like that. Essentially one right hand just slightly lower than left hand, and I putt the same way round, left and right handed. So left hand up, right hand down, whether I'm putting right handed or left handed. I haven't switched my hands around, so where you would call lead hand low for left handed putting, and lead hand high for right handed putting. So it's just the way it is. That's for me. Yeah. Are you reverse-handed at the moment?
I'm left below right.
Yeah.
So I'm reverse-handed with like the traditional overlap, but obviously just left hand low.
Yeah.
And then I'm quite like Si in the fact that, but I it's been a while since I've heard of putter, but I interlock those, and then I interlocked all those, and then they just sit level down the barrel of the shaft, and then the thumbs sit flat. So I've got a flat fronted putter grip and then a rounded back. So my hands wrap round the back and my thumbs sit nice and square. That helps me because I used to get a bit sort of, if I had lead hand high, I used to get a bit sort of twitchy. So this just stopped me from getting too
handsy
on the wrists. A bit handy. So that's my thing. And again, it's sort of a modified prayer grip, I call it.
Yes. So, Si, you might be able to, like, I honestly don't even know how this works. So Julian's put,
plumb bob.
That's interesting, taking things into consideration in terms of, like, how to read greens. He's saying that Dan Hendrickson's done aim point versus plumb bob. Now, in my head, plumb bob doesn't work. I can't make it work. I've had it explained to me numerous times. I literally, like, just baffles me.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't see it working.
Yeah, so obviously, for those that don't know, and I'm sure you do all know, basically what you're doing is you're holding up the putter shaft, and you're using the shaft of the putter as a vertical, okay, and then obviously you're using the horizon, the surroundings around you, to tell whether the left side of that vertical is higher than the right side of that vertical. And I can make it work. I can do that and kind of go, yeah, that's left to right or right to left. But I think I could equally do it like that without the plumb bob there. I think it comes from I guess plumbers or builders or that kind of those trades.
Plumb line, yeah.
Those trades where they would have used that as a leveling system. I'm intrigued. I'll go and watch that Dan Hendrickson video because I like Dan's stuff, and I haven't seen that.
It's interesting for me. If you held it on a piece of string and there was one way, that's fine because it's central.
Yeah, plumb.
If you've got a heavily toe balanced putter, that putter shaft is going to hang off centre naturally.
No, I think you twist it so that it would always it falls either away from you or behind you.
So it's like.
So it's still a vertical line, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any science behind it. Whereas I think that for me personally, I think aim point has some good basis behind it because at the end of the day, it's based on the proprioceptors in your feet. You know,
Yes.
we don't
the liquid in your ears that keep you upright. Isn't it?
Exactly, and we can walk on slopes. We can be knocked off balance, but retain our balance. So our awareness of slope and direction is far greater than we know about. Aim point kind of in a real simple way. Because remember, it's designed for children. Aim point express, which is what we're talking about here, is designed for kids. And with Adam will have done it as well. You do it with kids, and they just get it straight away, and they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can feel that foot's lower than that foot, so I'll aim that side of the hole.
And I'll often do it with people like don't go into too much detail with it, and don't even give them the numbers. So we're not even putting hands up or nothing. Just literally go down there and say, which way does that go? Because a lot of people just go down there and just be like, oh, I have no idea. Well, if you go and stand up that side, what does it do? And if you go stand that side, does it get more or less? So if it's it feels a lot more, then it's going to have a bit more break than you thought it might have done.
Well,
don't get too scientific with it.
In my last aim point training that I did last year in lockdown, inside 6 feet, you don't teach fingers anymore. No. You don't teach fingers inside 6 feet. It's only when you get outside 6 foot. And to be honest, outside 8-10 feet for most golfers, you don't need to start putting up fingers. And just feeling the slope, and it's super work. It works. So
I want to know, Marcus, is that sarcastic?
No, of course no. Marcus will be interested in this. Yeah, I think because what's interesting for Marcus is he will have. I think he uses plumb bob, or he would certainly be of that generation that will have seen lots and lots of golfers using plumb bob. And has been, if you go back and watch 60s, 70s, 80s tour golf, there's golfers using it and successfully using it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it works, and that it's just been one thing that it's just every time somebody's explained it to me, I'm like, no,
don't get it.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things. Everybody's different. That's why, like, I could putt left hand low and somebody could hate it. So
Yeah.
it's a great game from that point of view. So Ryan's saying, is anybody using a counterbalanced grip like the Super Stroke? I have done in the past. I actually have a Super Stroke grip on the new putter without the counterbalance weight in the top, but it has the option to put it in. I just haven't got it in at the minute.
So my Dell,
that I had made had got a counterbalance weight in the grip, and it was quite heavy. I'd got 90 grams below my left hand low. So that 90 grams was sat underneath my left hand, and it really noticeable. If anybody's seen any of the course vlogs, I do tend to flip my putter, and it took some perfecting when the Adele got there, because there's a lot more weight in the grip end to get it to come back to me. There was a few drops first up.
yes, that's the nice thing with the Adele. So obviously with the Super Stroke counterbalance, the weight is here, isn't it? But with the Adele, that weight can be put anywhere in the grip, or even in the shaft, can't it? You can poke it down anywhere, and it's interesting to see where it ends up being put. Obviously, I've got a heavy weight in my Adele, right in between where my hands meet, where they join. Good.
So Marcus is talking about going to that 2-thumb grip. So that's good. Yeah. And you also got the 2-thumb actual grips that are a little bit wider and a bit flatter that you can go with as well. So that's an option. Ryan's saying he loves his Pistol GT 2.0.
Yeah.
So I've got the Pistol GT 1.0, so just a little bit lower, but a sort of a nice little pistol shape grip from Super Stroke. I'm not massively keen on it being thin at the top and wider at the bottom. It's just one of those things. So Ryan's obviously got the PP60.
So that's what I just saying to Marcus. So the PP60 is.
I've only got 59s here.
When we were looking, we were talking with Simon about changing my putter grip, and with all the putters that are available in the pro shop at Berry, and I picked up as many as I could to try and find. But I did look at a lot of Super Stroke, but I felt they felt quite thick. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it felt like there was a lot of foam and rubber and stuff, and the ping feels a bit more solid, and like it just felt a bit of a better build. Like it's all personal preference, and I think if you want to change your putter grip, like I did, you've got to go and when you can, you've just got to go and pick up a load of putter grip. You know, just go and pick up a load and just get that feel in your hand and go, does this feel comfortable? Because I think that has also helped with my putting. Is I feel so much more comfortable holding it, you know, and being able to deliver the club. I just had stock Odyssey grip on the club. So there is a video on YouTube of us redoing that grip somewhere. So check out our channel. It'll be in the development curve section
Playlist.
So, have a little look, and you can see what I had before, and maybe I'll do another little video on how that sort of turned out for me when we can get back on the golf course.
It won't be long now.
Yeah, often with going to the putting grip, often what I'll do with people that like shuffle their hands around in a putting lesson is actually say, or change the grip completely, or make them use my putter or a different putter that we've got in the shop or something like that. Because often when you change the grip, that simple change of the feeling in the hand, all of a sudden it's not necessarily the putter that's the issue, it's the connection to that. So I'll often just put something completely different in, or get them to hold it in a different way for a few putts, and then make them go back to their grip, and then all of a sudden their hands like fix on there just so much easier. It's just sometimes getting that grip out of your hand, getting that out of the way, and changing something and then changing it back, and then all of a sudden it does feel a little bit more comfy again.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And again, it's that like you attain to, Ryan. It's that confidence. If you can suddenly hold something, look at something, line the whatever it is, if that just gives you more confidence, then of course you're gonna perform better. That obviously going back to Arnold Palmer last week, and obviously all the pictures that were going around of him. I don't know if anyone saw, but there was a picture of him stood on the 18th green at Bay Hill with all the putters around him on the floor from his collection, huge circle of putters on the floor around him, and he always used to take 8, 10, a dozen putters onto the putting green every morning of a tournament, and just go out with the one that gave him the most confidence, that felt the best, that hold the best putts on the putting green that morning. And it's sometimes as simple as that, isn't it? Just have you got the confidence when you step on the golf course with the implement in your hand, and that's why people tinker around with putters so much, because they are so personal.
So the boys are talking in the chat about obviously Bryson's 4-year-old driver that he was using last week, and the fact that obviously Cobra have got a brand new head out, and he decided to go with a few models previous. I think it's very interesting. I know Peter Finch has done a video where he's put like the Sim up against the M1. He's put the new Callaway Speed up against. I'm not sure if it was two or three. I think it was the one before the Flash. What was that?
Just Epic. Just called the Epic. Yeah.
Just the Epic.
Just the normal Epic. So they're literally like pound for pound the same numbers.
They're going to be though, aren't they?
It's very very interesting.
I've said it before, in the fact that the big gains have been made in drivers. They're now looking at minute gains now, aren't they? Like, they're looking at better MOI. They're not looking at distance gains necessarily. They're looking at MOI gains and speed gains, ball speed gains. Those are the sort of gains that they're looking to try and eke out of what is eventually they're going to get to the end of development on. They have.
They've been better since 2008. They've been banned. They can't be any more efficient than they were in 2008, because that's the legal limit now.
It can't get hotter off the face. It can't get bigger. You can't
can't be longer.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
So they're looking for still looking at aerodynamic change and stuff, just to allow that club to get through the air quicker and allow you to develop more club.
And it's great when you put it in a robot hand, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you put everything in a robot, and it this thing just hits it out of the exact same dimple every single time, time after time. And this club goes further than this club. Well, that's all they need to prove.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't get it to go any further doesn't matter, because they've proved it in data. As soon as they've done it in data, it's done.
Exactly. And
yeah, James, they are expensive. James Rose is saying in the comments, how prices of drivers it is a lot of money. Like, in the grand scheme of things, what's the Sims, 450, 495, something like that. That's a lot of money to a lot of people out there, and it's great that all these pros are, they make it look great, and they get given these products to use and endorse. And obviously, as soon as Ping brought out the 425 series, they were all over social media. Look at the using our 425. Look at Tyrrell using our 425, and it's great. It's to sell things, and I think that's why maybe looking at a series before now. Now that the new series of drivers are out, so like the 410 for Ping is last year's, that'll be discounted. That'll be cheaper, but for us average amateurs would probably perform fairly similar.
Oh yeah.
Worth definitely looking at.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a couple of years old.
But I mean, Callaway drivers at the turn of the century, like 2001, 2002, they were £500, and then Ping brought out the G2 at 199, and everybody had to bring their price down.
For a bit,
and then it goes back up, and then it goes back down. It'll do the same. Someone will bring out a product at £275, £300, and everyone else will have to bring their prices down to match it. Otherwise,
we were talking about fittings last week, weren't we? And I remember when I went for my Titleist fit, a mate of mine was in the Bay Up and obsessed with exotic shafts and all the rest of it, loves it. And he's got the original, which is what these boys are talking about, the original TaylorMade M2. And as soon as he pulled the head cover off, the Titleist rep went,
not beating that. No.
Because it's one of those clubs that it gets better the more you use it. Like, the tolerance, it is legal when it's produced. Then as you use it, which is why you'll find that some of the pros will keep a driver for a lot longer, as you use a driver, the tolerance actually
gets hotter, doesn't it?
Goes above what is legally allowed, because of the play and the torque in the head as it moves, and as the
face gets thinner
essentially it moves more and more, so that tolerance goes up. So then as soon as you pulled the head cover off, the guy just went, I won't beat it. He hit like 4 shots. He must have tried 15 shafts, like?
Oh yeah, he was
When
desperate,
Rusty was there?
desperate, doesn't he? Yeah,
This
yeah.
thing was like in, out, and the guy just went like literally. He couldn't get within like 10, 15 yards of it.
No.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like knocking in a good old cricket bat, isn't it?
It is. It's
Knock it
exactly
in, and
that.
once it's knocked in, good to go.
So much better, exactly. Good. Right, I think that just about wraps us up. We've been chatting for an hour. Fantastic. Good, real good chat tonight. This is what this is all about. Obviously, we're talking about tour events, but if there's anything that crops up that we want to talk about, we've talked about putters for probably 20 minutes and still not found Kevin Kisner's putting aid. So we'll need to go away and do some work on that to figure out what that putting aid was. I couldn't really find anything on a quick internet search.
More of the things underneath his feet I saw. He's got like 2 tennis balls.
The
that
Chango
seem to be
paws,
strapped to the bottom
yeah.
of the soles of his feet.
The
that sort of
Chango
rock
paws,
back
yeah.
across his heels.
There you go.
But yeah, other than that.
Good, brilliant. Right, guys, thank you very much for all the chat. As always, it's super good that you guys chat amongst yourselves while we're chatting away here as well. It's so good. Videos coming out this week. I've obviously released one today. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. Just about my silly run on Monday and a bit of a kind of a recap of the last year before we go back into full golf mode when we start coaching again in a few weeks. Adam, Ryan, you got anything coming up?
Ryan Rosansky has just sent you potentially his putter aid.
Has he? Okay, hang on.
So I feel anything. I would.
Oh yeah, it's the Chango paws. Yeah, the feet thing.
I would love to get some videos out. My laptop is literally on its last legs.
Oh no.
And I'm doing what I can, but I can't put anything out that I really would be proud of, or it's very painful. So, and getting a new laptop at the moment is. I really want to invest so we can for the future and for the channel. So it will come eventually, but hoping work will start firing up again as this lockdown starts to lift, which is good news for everybody. But no, other than that, I'll be keeping an eye on the golf as always, and I'll be giving you your day 2 and day 4 updates on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Lovely.
Yeah. So Instagram, we've got a few more tips coming out this week. I've got some swing reviews done, and also I'm back coaching. So schools are back open. So I've managed to do some coaching this week. It's been great to get back out and do like a normal job for a little bit, even for a few hours. It was great just to get in the studio and obviously we are all masked up and all the rest of it, and it is a bit weird and it's all a bit strange, but it's great to be back hitting some golf balls, even if it was a bit cold this week. I was loving the hot weather for that week and thinking, coaching outside is going to be lovely, and then I was back with snood, hat, gloves, coat, everything. But yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, it was good to get back and do some coaching.
Yes, and it won't be. So we've got two more tournaments before golf reopens, have we?
Yeah.
So this week, and then 2 more preview shows, and then we'll be back. How excited are we going to be in 3 Wednesdays' time when we've been coaching for a couple of days?
Oh well, I doubt I won't have been able to get on the golf course because I won't have remembered to try and book a tee time.
Well,
20 past midnight, you mean?
That's on you.
What time it is if you have to try and book
Was it 8? Was it 8? It was 8 p.m. wasn't it? 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
8 days.
Before.
8 days before.
Oh no, they've changed it.
Have they changed it now? Is it?
Exactly. Yeah, changed it again.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Hot luck. Anyway.
Yes.
Right.
Good. Excellent, guys. Thanks for the chat as always, and we shall speak to you all very soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.